So Johnny Somali is going to face trial. He's going to trial. He's been indicted.
He's been a very, very naughty boy.
He's just this. I've said in pretty much every single one of my videos, he is a genetic dead end.
Yeah.
Genuinely a genetic dead end. You look at him and you go, yeah, that's where his lineage ends. That's it. It's done. Like he is just the epitome of just degenerate looking. Just everything about him. Like there's no redeeming qualities about this guy. Like at all. There's nothing redeeming about him.
You don't think you're being harsh at all. This guy is
No, I don't.
It's those East Africans. They're an admixture of sub-Saharan Africans and Arabs. That is actually their ethnicity, isn't it? That's their admixture. I mean, like in Black Hawk Down, they just call them skinnies, don't they?
I don't remember that, but yeah.
Yeah.
God damn. So as we were just sort of discussing in the previous segment, Johnny Somali hasn't really been on many people's radars. He popped up on my radar because he went to Japan, and like I like Japan, like I've never been, FYI, but I like the culture. I like what it represents. I like what it stands for, and I enjoy it's just a place which I have a sort of an affinity towards. So I saw Johnny Somali in these weird videos where he was approaching people on subways, just talking about Nagasaki, Hiroshima, we're going to get you, blah blah blah. Like, and I just thought to myself, what compels someone to do something like that, And I was surprised that Japan took it as lightly as they did. He really just got off pretty lightly, to be honest. And apparently, he's just continued his bizarre reign of terror around these sort of more quiet and reserved countries culturally. So then he went to South Korea. Sadly, he didn't go to North Korea. But yeah, he went to South Korea. And as part of his journey through South Korea, doing these things, he went to these comfort women statues, which is, of course, part of, I mean, I don't know if, Bo, you'll be able to add much to this, but it's to do with Japan basically making South Koreans their sex slaves during sort of the imperial parts of, Japan's history, right? Coming into South Korea. And yeah, this is to represent that basically, and it's to sort of remember that part of their history. And so he's very disrespectful to that, kissing them, dancing on them. These are statues which represent a very painful time in South Korean history. And then not only did he do that, but then there's videos of him in shops throwing ramen around, playing music really loudly, threatening old women. Dancing obnoxiously, like anything you think that's incredibly annoying, borderline mega offensive, that's probably what he's done. He created AI deepfakes to say that he had a South Korean girlfriend, but he didn't. That's actually massively against the law in South Korea as well. You can face, I think you can face up to 10 years in prison just for that alone. So basically he got beaten up in South Korea because an ex-special forces who now is a YouTuber found him and just beat him up in front of police, didn't care. South Koreans are so organized, they even created a GoFundMe, basically crowdfunded legal fees for anyone that beats the shit out of him. That's just amazing. Like, how cool is that? We'll just crowdfund legal fees. So anyone can beat him up. It doesn't really matter. Like we've got the money to defend ourselves. And then he's on drug charges in South Korea. So he's been investigated a lot. Apparently, had his passport taken off him. He had a travel ban whilst the police were investigating the obstruction of business charges, the drugs charges. He's been tested for these drug charges. He has now since shaved his head, so he's trying to get out of the hair follicle test, basically, for drugs. Even though a lot of this stuff is all on video, so not really sure like how much more evidence they need, to be honest. But this all comes to, oh no, sorry, there's more things. He gave a really piss poor apology for all of this comfort woman statue stuff. And that only inflamed tensions even further, because South Koreans could obviously see that he was just not sincere. Like, obviously, it was, oh, I made a mistake. Mate, you didn't make a mistake. Your entire shtick is going to countries and doing this stuff. You're a dipshit. Come on now. Obviously, you were doing this on purpose. It's just so clear and transparent. Anyway, I've talked a lot. It's all come to a head now because the police have investigated, and now he's been indicted for, at the very least, the obstruction of business, and he does face jail time. It is going to trial. Like, it goes to trial. Trial is going to happen now, based on this indictment.
Great stuff.
So that's it, really. That's the long story of it all.
I've got one or two other details. He actually got knocked down by someone more than once. There's footage of him already with like a busted up eye, and someone else knocks him down. Not really sparks him out cold, but hits him in the face, knocks him down. Also, there was some other South Korean content creator, streamer person that just started following him around and being really obnoxious to him. This is brilliant. Like Culture said in the last segment, he said, I haven't heard of this guy until a couple of weeks ago. Me too. So when I saw it when he was in Japan, and that was a few months back, right? And then after that wasn't, and after that was sort of out of the news cycle, when that was off Twitter, I just completely forgot about the guy. Just completely forgot about him. And then when it came back into the news in the last week or two, one of my colleagues at Lotus Eaters did a segment on it, an afternoon podcast segment. And I was like, who's this guy? I've never heard this guy. How comes everyone's talking about this guy? I've never heard of him. He's like, no, you remember? He was talking trash about the nukes in Japan, that guy. I'm like, oh, it's the same dude. Okay, I hate his guts. Anyway, I sat through sort of a 20, 25-minute segment on the podcast that was chronicling all the stuff he's done. And yeah, it's just so obnoxious. It's like, it's like the most obnoxious behavior you can imagine. And beyond obnoxious, actually criminal. And the thing is about those comfort women things. Yeah, it's an unbelievable crime. In the 20s and 30s, the way the Japanese subjugated the Korean peninsula it was bad. It was really bad. So to take the piss out of that is sort of unconscionable, just unbelievable. And so yeah, I really hope he gets a custodial sentence. One other thing I'll say before I pass it off is to say that some people might have the impression that North Koreans are like these rock hard, badass commies that are forged out of famine and stuff, and that the South Koreans are like these much softer, like the K-pop thing, and Seoul is a bit like Tokyo, and they're soft. They're not. South Koreans are not soft people. Like you think, oh, the North Koreans, they're like a dictatorship people, and the South Koreans are like soft democracy people. No. They don't muck about. So if you find yourself on the wrong side of the law in South Korea, that's no joke. So
I just don't understand why go inviting trouble like this after you've gotten your butt kicked out of 2 other countries. I mean, it doesn't make sense. This
kid is he's mad. It's a type of madness, isn't it? People like that, I think. It's inexplicable to a normal person, isn't it? A normal civilized person. It's inexplicable.
Well, I think it comes down to some of it will come down to, they call it main character syndrome, don't they? But it's essentially a form of narcissism as well.
Desperation for attention and clicks, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, exactly. This guy.
It's easier to do that if you just attack Daisy Ridley or something. You don't have to be like this guy.
People do all sorts. Sorry, Nate.
I was just going to say, that's it. He just wants to be famous. That's all I was going to add.
Some people do all sorts. Do you remember that guy? He would go around to gyms and talk trash and even sucker punch like professional boxers and stuff. And nearly always get his ass kicked. But it was all for clicks, right? You're absolutely right, Culture. It's easier to do something else. But some people are they're crazy. They're batshit crazy and shameless, absolutely shameless. We haven't said hello to Nick. Hi, Nick.
What's up,
guys?
Is
Nick here?
What's up?
Yeah,
I don't know anything about the story you guys are. I've not heard.
You don't know about Johnny Somalia or whatever?
Never even heard of him.
See?
Good for you. You're better off.
Most of my story, spinning yarn about it all.
Spinning yarn.
I hope. I really hope he gets a custodial sentence, because again, South Korean prisons again will be no joke.
It doesn't.
They
sound
don't
like
pamper
a party.
you in any way. Yeah. You're gonna.
It does not sound like a party.
Suffer.
To be fair, prison in general, not a party. So I'm just...
Is it the UK, mate?
Yeah, there's well, in the West, there's prisons and there's prisons, right? There's low security stuff, and then there's supermax stuff in America, that is. But yeah, in Britain, some of our low security prisons it's almost like a holiday camp. It's annoying. Yeah. It's annoying.
3 square meals,
not that bad.
Free TV.
I think most South Korean prisons are not going to be like that. I hope.
Yeah. I mean, look, I sincerely hope he does get a custodial sentence. I hope he goes down. I hope they throw the book at him.
Yeah, it's like 10 years, right?
This is someone that will literally never learn without consequences to his actions. You know, Japan, he got off so incredibly lightly from Japan. And a normal person would have looked at that and gone, "Oh wow, I'm actually really lucky," to be honest. You know, I mean, a normal person wouldn't have done it in the first place. But you know, the point is that if you'd done it by accident, you'd have looked at yourself and gone, you know, I'm lucky. Even if you did it on purpose, you know, those kind of things are moments of self-reflection. But again, some people are just not built for self-reflection, are they? But yeah, he's never going to learn unless he actually has consequences to his actions. You know, you'd have thought being punched in the face multiple times apparently would have given him some pause for thought, but yeah, apparently not. So yeah, get him in prison. Do it.
Yeah.
Beer.
All right. Well, yeah, we'll move on from this to some stuff which everyone can chime in with. But I thought we'd cover that just because it is interesting.
It's crazy. It's not just interesting. It's just like outright, like, what a douche. My God,
that's mental. Like, it's actually mental. It's just bizarre how people can act like that. Like you have to have no self-awareness. Actually, I think that's part of it, right? Because to be self-aware is to have an embarrassment reflex.
Do you know how valuable I think travel is? I think travel is one of those, like, if you are lucky enough to do it, you should appreciate it kind of a thing, you know? And so, I mean, I can't, first of all, I couldn't imagine Bo going over to a country and telling them how completely wrong their entire history has been, despite the fact that he could.
Yeah, I mean, like, do you remember, I can't remember if it was Jake Paul or the other Paul brother. They went over to Japan quite a few years back and were being disrespectful. Nothing of the order of talking crap about nuclear weapons, but still they were, like, other content creators have done this, but this Johnny Somali just take it to a new level. I mean, like, the accounts of the burns at Hiroshima and Nagasaki, to joke about that, take the piss, to try and rub it in. It's like, like, you not only do you not have any embarrassment reflex, it's like you've got no concept of, oh God, I can't even find the words to describe how obnoxious it is almost, you know?
Yeah. Sorry. Anyway, I didn't mean to take us back, but I'm still trying to grapple with it. So.
No, honestly, it's fine. It's fine. It's worth having a conversation about it, because it's one of these things, and I'm thankful for it as well, is that it has actually gripped the internet. Like, a lot of people are interested in the story, which is good. Because it goes to show that, and everyone's just annoyed about it, which is good. Like, that's good. You know, that gives me some hope for the wider populace. You know, not just being degenerates and just finding all this kind of stuff hilarious. It's good that people are outraged by it. So, like I said, it's worth covering just from that perspective. But anyway, we'll like I said, we'll move on now to